Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna get mine. I get a line from Larry.
What?
All right, guys, let's call this meeting to order. This is City of Odessa City Council meeting, January 28, 2005, beginning at 6 o'clock according to my iPhone. Norma, would you please call roll?
Mayor Hendrick,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Stoker,
Here.
Councilmember Mitchell,
Present.
Councilmember Thompson,
Present.
Councilmember Vasquez is absent, Councilmember Cornell,
Present.
Councilmember Haney.
Here.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you. All right, is Pastor James McCreary here today from the First Baptist Church? Well, that happens a lot. Okay. Chris, you want to give our invocation?
Sure.
You stand with us, please?
God, we want to thank you for the gathering of these men up here, Father, and these women, Father, for this city, Father. We know that, Father, you will bless us with the right decisions, Father, because we've asked you, Father, to guide us in everything that we do. And, Father, we just ask for protection over everyone here, Father, on their comings and goings. And we ask, Father, for everyone that works at this city for the same deal, Father. We're asking for protection over them on their comings and goings. And may all of our decisions be based on what you have said. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.
Amen. Councilman Mitchell, would you give us really some pledge of allegiance?
They moved him.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, they moved him.
Have it.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, sir.
You don't get whiplash that way.
It's very confusing. All right. I believe there's no proclamations today. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. We have number one on our agenda with citizens' comments on non-agenda items. Or any comments?
Katarina Tavares.
Mr. Tavares?
Okay, which item? It's not marked.
Now move to our consent agenda. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes and all the items on there? If so, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion by
As a
Councilman
consent
Canal and
agenda.
second by Councilman Haney. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? It's unanimous. All right. Go to our regular agenda item, number 6. Consider renewal of software maintenance between the City of Odessa and Tyler Technologies, Inc. for the Tyler Munis Enterprise Resource Planning Software License and Application in the amount of $332,397.03 for January 1 of 25 to December 31st of 25. Mr. Flores.
Council, Mayor. So this is the renewal of our ERP system and then the extra billing collections module. It's pretty much standard, so it goes up 5% every year, and that's what they did this year as well. So it's an increase of 5%, and we're just asking to renew it. It's essential for the city. We can't function without it.
Any discussion?
Baked in your budget, I assume.
Sir?
Baked in your budget.
Yes, it's going to come out of our budget.
Figured it was. I just had to ask.
Yes, sir.
Is there any citizen comments?
No, sir.
All right, if so, guys, no questions, I entertain a motion.
Move approval.
Motion by Councilman Thompson, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, seconded. All right, guys, any other discussion? If not, we'll call the vote. Anybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Flores.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, item 7, resolution. Consider approving participation in the election of the petition for the creation of the Ector County Emergency Service District Number 1 Fire Services. Patty, good office, you present.
Thank you for having us this evening. I am speaking on behalf of the community team that presented the petitions to the Ector County Commissioners Court. And I would just like, please, if you all, there's 5 other people here besides me, if you would stand up. And I just want to duly recognize them for their work, and I appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
All right. So we're here to talk tonight about the people in Ector County wanting to start emergency services districts. And so I'll actually speak to 7 and 8 at the same time because the ESD is the same. The only difference is one is focused on fire and one is focused on EMS.
Yeah, I hate to interrupt you for 1 second. I'm afraid we need to do one at a time. We just
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or you could go ahead and read 8, and then she can do.
hold that thought. Let me read number 8 while we're
Thank
here.
you.
Resolution number 8, consider approving participation in the election of the petition for the creation of the Ector County Emergency Service District Number 2, Ambulance Medical Services. Now we can read them both.
Okay.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. I'm also new. Okay. So what we'll speak about is what are you voting on? I want you to be crystal clear about what it is that we're asking. And I think that goes without saying that we need to all have the same understanding of what an emergency services district, also known as ESD, is, why we want one, and how it will operate. Where does our community effort stand right now? And what do we need from Odessa City Council and why? So in order to give you a clear understanding of the council's vote tonight, I always like when something is new to say what it is and what it is not. And so what it is a request to meet a legal requirement to put the ESD on the ballot, both of them, in May. And what we're requesting is that you include your ETJ, your extraterritorial jurisdiction, in the area that will become part of the emergency services district. And I have a little map to show you why that's really important. But by law, because you are entitled to the ETJ, we have to have your written permission in order to include it. What it is not, you're not making any commitment tonight. I'm not making any commitment to you. The county is not here to make a commitment. We're not asking you for a commitment. This is simply a technical, legal gate, I would call it, to get the petitions on the ballot in May. And you're also not approving or endorsing the ESD. But my goal is to leave it where when you have people ask you about it, you can say what it is and what it isn't, because it will not affect anybody in the areas that you represent. The 2 problems that the community would like to resolve. First, we know that time and distance equals survival rate. We would like to reduce the distance and therefore reduce the time that it takes for fire services as well as EMS to arrive in parts of the county that are outside the city limits. Also, by doing this, it's our hope that the ISO rating, and in particular, the Public Protection Classification, PPC, would be reduced. So right now, we are at more risk for losing lives and property in the county because of time and distance. And so therefore, we pay higher insurance rates. So OFR, it's doing a great job. They have a rating of a number 1. That is best in class. You cannot get better than that, which means that your rates are really good. All of the rest of the county is either a 9 or a 10. And so our rates are very high. But by doing things like ensuring we have fire hydrants, ensuring we have fire stations within 5 miles, water sources within 1,000 feet, there are many things that go into getting this lowered. So what is an emergency service district? It's a political subdivision created by the voters. So it is a funding mechanism for services, which means taxes, the evil word taxes, but that's how you fund it. And just like y'all, an ESD will help to make rules and to govern the activities of the ESD within the district. In the 1940s, a rural water district mechanism was formed with a 3-cent tax cap, and inflation very quickly ate that up. So in the late 80s, the legislator came out with the ESD, and that has become their preferred method of providing emergency and fire to rural areas. So there are over 340 in 90 counties in Texas. And every time we have an election, typically more ESDs are added. And they don't operate under bylaws. It's very clear they operate under Chapter 775 of the Health and Safety Code. I'm getting this question a lot. This fell on the ballot in November, so why are you bringing this back up? We're not. They're two different things. So the ESD proposal was first formed, the thought of it was first formed in summer of 2023 when the county judge came to West Odessa and talked about an ESD and incorporation. It was a rough meeting. I'm sure you saw it on TV if you weren't there. And in our desire to make something good, even out of something that maybe didn't go the way that others wanted, we decided to start meeting as a team and see what we could do about EMS and fire. Then last year, in the first quarter of the year, we had wanted to speak with ESDs who exist, and so we had reached out to MCH to ask them for contact, and they asked us to pause on the ESD activity so they could take a shot at it and connect that to the funding issue that they have. And so there's actually a 4-step process that would have to go through. ESD, if it goes through in May, we're done, it's approved, you know, we can start seeing services, working our way to seeing services. So after the MCH ballot failed in November, and it was so close, just by 134 votes, the ESD team came back together and said, let's do this again, because every time that the MCH proposition would fail, it delays things by 1 or 2 years. What else do I want to tell you about this? There's a state max on an ESD, 10 cents per $100 valuation, and MCH was looking to raise their tax ceiling to 75 cents, so those are very different. Obviously, MCH is already a taxing entity, a political subdivision, so they would have had their board govern the ESD, where in this case, the county commissioners will appoint the 5 ESD commissioners. And I think really it gets down to the core focus. You know, MCH has a come to us model, even for the 21 counties around us that they serve, where an ESD is entirely focused on fire and EMS. So it's more of a go-to-you model, right? So ESD, like I said, will be a taxing entity, and the funds will be used to pay for operating expenses as well as large capital expenditures like buildings, trucks. Why create an ESD? Reliable funding is the #1 reason that all those other folks have done it. It's very hard to plan for the future. It's very hard to run things smoothly if you don't have reliable funding. In this case, we also need more funding. So reliable is definitely important. But as y'all know, you have a $35 million OFR budget, and you receive $770,000 from the county budget annually. The former city manager estimated that it cost about $14 million for y'all to provide services into the county. You're getting $770,000. When I talked with Chief Cotton, I got some numbers, and 27.6% of your OFR calls go out into the county. If you just do the straight math on that, times 35 million, you get to about 9.96 million. So I can't stand here today and tell you I know exactly what the number is, but I can tell you it's not 777, right? So what are the reliable funding sources? Property taxes. We talked about the limit being 10 cents. The average single home value in the county is about $130,000. Even if they came out at the 10 cents cap maximum, which I wouldn't be supportive of that, it would be $130 per year or just under $11 a month. ESDs also have access to the sales tax rate, but because Ector County passed the assistance district in 2019, all of that money is spoken for, and it's first come, first serve, so we don't have the opportunity to get any of that money. And of course, they can charge for ambulance transports, false alarms, and fire inspections. So the governing board, like y'all, you're the decision-making body and the stewards of taxpayer funds and assets. And that's what the governing board would do for the ESD. What's happening with the community plan? We're in stage 1 right now, which is to meet the legal requirements to get it on the May ballot. Stage 2 is when we will start communicating with the public and holding listening sessions. But we've got to get through the deadline of February 14th to be on the ballot. And so in red, that's why we're asking you under stage 1 to please vote to include the ETJ in the districts. And then you won't really hear from us again unless you want to until stage 4, which is after May 27th, when the ESD commissioners are appointed. And at that point, I would expect and assume that they will approach the city to work out a contract for OFR to provide services to the county. So what is an ETJ? It's the big blue area on the map. And state gives you how many miles that you have designated outside of your city limits based on your population. For the city of Odessa, it is 5 miles. For Goldsmith, it is a half a mile, and that's the little dot that you see in the upper left-hand corner. So I'm going to be really clear about what the area would be. Everything in the gray, with the exception of Goldsmith, and everything in the blue, but not the green, because the green in this map is the city of Odessa. So it'll be the ETJ in blue as well as the gray county area. And this is why the majority of the population outside the city limits resides in the ETJ. All of us on the volunteer team, we all live in the ETJ. And these are number of voters. So when there's a lot of yellow in the middle, that's actually your city. But when you look within the white boundary, you can see that it's Gardendale, most of West Odessa, and Pleasant Farms. So the maximum taxable value, I want you to understand this for sure. If they were to go 10 cents each, the maximum taxable value for the ESD is about $21.6 million a year as it stands today. So what if you vote no? Well, we will miss the May ballot, and what that means is funding won't start in January next year. If we go in November, it'll start in 2027. Also, we'll have the opportunity to go out and get a lot more signatures and bring them back to you. And then when you're considering it, if you decide to deny our request or you don't take action on it, that is considered your consent to include it. So for me, this is just a long way to get to where we are today. So we've talked about the benefits of saving lives and property in the county area. Hopefully our ISO rating to go down. For the county, it potentially relieves some tax burden with the minimal amount that they're paying now. For you guys, it's an opportunity for you to contract with the ESD to provide OFR services, and you receive that revenue directly from the ESD. ESD would collect taxes and then pay you per the contractual agreement. There's also an opportunity to fund the volunteer fire departments if the ESD Commission wanted to do that. So what's being voted on, including the blue area in the ESD, you don't tax it now. So they would get services and they would also pay their part of getting services. What's not being decided today, whether OFR is going to be a contractor, what we would pay you, nothing is being decided today, except for putting this on the May ballot, which can only happen with your permission to include the ETJ. And there will be future decision points for council once the ESD commissioners are appointed, but that is outside of the volunteer team's pay grade. Once this passes, those commissioners are appointed and they will make all the decisions. So that's the end. What questions can I answer for you?
Gentlemen? I don't see any questions. Let's open it up for discussion. I think we have some citizens that want to comment on it. Let's have them come forward. Hey, would you mind kind of hanging to the?
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Katarina Tavares. Just a reminder, each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak.
Hello, gentlemen, lady. I'm Katarina Tavares. I am a nurse at Medical Center Hospital, and I'm just here to let you know that this is very much needed in West Odessa. We think about the stroke, the time that it takes for the ambulance to get over there. 40 minutes is what it takes them. Personal experience, my grandfather had a stroke, my father-in-law had a stroke. Had they been there sooner, the outcome would have been different. We talk about a heart attack as well. That's a tissue that dies and never comes back, never heals. That goes for the brain too when it comes to a stroke. So I would really appreciate you considering what Patty has offered. We also think about all of the children that are out there, the bus, the early learning centers, the schools. We do need fire and EMS. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate it.
This is really different for me. It's been a while since I've been here. How are y'all? My name is Tammy Hawkins, and today I'm actually representing ECISD. I do have permission from our interim superintendent to be here, so I just wanted y'all to know it's going to be okay. So today I'm going to give you some statistics about what ECISD has out there. In ECISD today, we have 34,000 students. Our poverty rate is over 75%. We have 4,200 staff members. Some live in the city and go to ECISD schools out west. Some live out west. We have 43 schools total. Out west, we have 4 campuses. Murray Fly has 1,100. Cavazos has 611 kids. E.K. Downing has 832, and Buddy West has 754. We have over 3,300 children living in West Odessa. Our new middle school, which we just broke ground on, will have over 1,000 students, and we continue to have more schools to be built. Our transportation covers 900 square miles. Eligible riders in the ECISD are 10,000. The total transport in West Odessa is 6,815 children every day. We have West Odessa and South Odessa students. Their transportation takes them over 45 minutes round trip every day to get to school and back safely. West Odessa, South Odessa to the home campus transportation can easily take now 1 hour and 45 minutes for our children. 45 minutes average ride time for all our students. Now those buses are out there with those trucks. Our bus drivers start at 5 a.m. and they drive back in at 8 p.m. Our emergency accidents, which I can honestly tell you, we probably average 3 to 4 a week or more of accidents on our buses. With our ECISD police department is dispatched. They communicate with the staff, then the families. Another bus is brought out, and then the ECISD immediately contacts our EMS. The EMS time can arrive as fast as we can, but the problem is many times the EMS is trying to arrive on 2-lane roads with their vehicles, the large vehicles. What is the average time for the EMS to arrive on the scene of Odessa? When I talked to Jeff, our police chief, a few minutes ago, he said he can do it in 15 minutes without lights, but driving as fast as he possibly can. That's the best he can do. Actually, we did have a driver this year. She had a seizure, and she ran into one of our buildings 20 minutes before our students were to be dismissed. We were very fortunate that we had a really good principal that took care of a situation that could have been very ugly. So, actually, these kids, the 33,400 students and 4,200 employees, to me, have a face. So thank you for remembering us, and we appreciate all that you do for us at ECISD. Did I make my 3 minutes? I went over. Oh, dang it. Sorry, she didn't go our 3 minutes, so sorry. All right, thank y'all so much.
Appreciate it. Next.
Daryl Pando.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name is Darrell Pondo. I am one of the petitioners for the ESD. I am also a new member of the Board of Directors of ECUD. And one of the reasons that we started this is that running for ECUD, people automatically think, hey, part of the county. Let me tell you the rest of the problems we have. No, I have to tell them now, not necessarily, but I did hear the problems. So many people told me that they lost loved ones, because, I mean, everybody here has had or knows somebody that's needed emergency services at one time or another, and is going to need it. So, you know, just hearing people's stories as to the ambulance got there, but it was too late. I've had, my father-in-law's needed emergency services several times, and they lived out there past Damascus. And once we had to meet the EMS at the Road Ranger. Second time we had to have the kids out with flashlights because they keep going to the wrong street. That's that one time when they had the ambulance come out and when they were out there with flashlights. It took probably about 30 minutes for it to get there. When they put him in the ambulance, his heart stopped. So it comes down to a matter of minutes, seconds. And it's just response time. And that's the biggest reason that we're needing emergency services out there. We're needing the CSD. We all know that Ector County is growing, and it's not going to stop growing. So we need to stay in front. I know right now we're behind on infrastructure and everything, the way it's growing, but we need to get on it, get ahead of it, and stay ahead of it going forward. Because it's not going to stop growing, and people are going to always be needing these services. So I'd like for y'all to really consider this, and appreciate the time coming out here and speaking in front of y'all. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all.
That's it. Gentlemen, need more discussion? Any questions?
Well, I'm just going to say I know our response times aren't 40 minutes. I've looked at all those times, and they're not as good as we'd like for them to be, but it's a long way. The problem I have with it is, number one, we got a $30 million budget for fire and EMS. This is going to create more fire stations, which that tax rate for a $10 million fire station plus 18 people per shift, plus the equipment, plus. Number one, that's, I don't think that's gonna cover it, but it's a complicated process. Fire hydrants are, I guess, are probably an issue. I'm not sure how many fire hydrants are out in that part of the world. I haven't gone over there and looked in a while. But I'm just concerned that we've wrestled with this, the county and the city have gone back and forth. I've talked to Commissioner Simmons 1,000 times about it, about how we solve it. And there's not any real good answer. We end up, if there's an emergency services district, then y'all were able to raise enough money to build a fire station, and then now we're competing with the county for firemen. That's a problem. Equipment's hard to come by. That's another problem. It's very, very complex situation. The deal was on the table with the school, with the hospital district, was really in my mind, it was a doable deal. It was financially very sound. I'm a little nervous about a emergency service district with no bylaws. That bugs me a lot. And I don't know what that code, David, maybe you can enlighten me on the code she's referencing. I don't know what it says.
Yeah, it's very unusual to not have bylaws, but.
Yeah, I know.
But that's what, yeah.
Yeah, so, and I understand they're collecting 10 cents a 100 in property values, and it's $21 million, but, we can't get the county to pay us now for the runs we make. They keep saying they're offsetting this county jail, but I've told Commissioner Simmons 1,000 times that every citizen inside the city limits is also a county citizen, and he doesn't see it quite that way. So we've had our differences there, and I'm not sure I've ever seen the county cut the city a check for that 700. No, I haven't. In 5 years I've been over here. They said they're not paying us because we're not covering the jail people. But that's a whole other topic. You can argue that till the cows come home. I know our guys take it very serious. Had many discussions with Chief Cotton. We're supposed to wait 2 minutes before the volunteer firefighters are called. I think that's right, isn't it, Chief?
We don't do that any longer.
He doesn't do that any longer because your guys couldn't stand that 2 minutes. That's what I think I heard. So because they don't like walking in and having to go into a trailer and find people on fire. I mean, I know that happened the other day. It's a terrible situation. It's gotten out of control, and it's not anything this council did or any previous council. It's just where the oil patch started. I was just telling Mr. Cannell a minute ago, every city in the United States grows from east to west, and Odessa grows from west to east. And that's simply because that's where that oil patch started. So it's kind of an unusual situation. And I'm just really struggle with it because it's our guys, we've got needs inside the city that are multi-million dollars. We are growing, and to the gentleman's comment a minute ago, we got housing developments going everywhere, and we're underserved in a lot of different parts of the city. We've got firehouses that need to be redone with what resources we have. And boy, I just think it would be very hard for us to take on all that, plus what we have to do just to cover the citizens of the city who do pay taxes for that fire and EMS service. So that's where the little rub with me is, and I hope y'all are successful, but I just have to let you know that it's a self-created thing that there's no way to incorporate it. You couldn't get it in code. There's not any way in the world, and then the people out there, I don't think will pay the taxes. I'm not sure you can get the 10 cents paid, but maybe you can. I don't know. But that would take some digging to figure out whether that'd be a viable financial model or not. So that's just my 2 cents worth for the council. It bothers me a lot too, because my nephew's a firefighter that guys over here trained, and I'll talk to him about what he experiences, and it's a tough job, and I feel for you guys out there, but it's kind of self-created. I don't know that we need to have a part in it one way or the other. Just my 2 cents.
Councilman Haney.
So even if you raise the 21.6 million, that wouldn't even cover building a brand new fire station out there. Where are you going to get the rest of the money from? Are you going to bond You guys voted down everything that has been to cost you a little bit of money out there. Everybody's voted it down. So, to me, I'm sorry for you guys. I used to live out there, but I'm like, this is self-inflicted on you guys. You keep backing away from everything that's get presented. And so, not the people here, but the people that live there. So, and I'm in the same position right now. I said, $777,000, and you guys want us to run more and more and more out there. Our fire stations are pulling everybody they got. They're getting out there as fast as they can. There's other things that I'm considering here too, is that we keep growing here, and the more we grow, we don't even have enough resources right now. So what are we gonna do? Are you guys gonna pass an ordinance with us or come help us pay for our new fire stations that we need? That's my question. This could be a county deal instead of a city deal, but nobody wants to pass it in the county, so, to help. So we keep taking everything that we have here, and we struggle. You know, we have other stuff here that we struggle with too. So I'm a no vote on this, and I'm sorry.
Councilman Canal, do you have any questions or comments?
Yeah, I appreciate the county commissioners putting this together, but I was hoping on the first plan to go through that it failed. I think that was more economical. And I don't know. Let's say hypothetically that it did fly. The money that we did receive, that would be the money that we used, period. So it'd be an effort in the right direction. Countering the point that it's going to cost this amount of money or this amount of money, well, the money that we do receive, then we can incorporate it and help Chief Cotton, because West Odessa actually is growing west. So it's getting further and further away every day in certain portions. So, could it be considered that way?
Thank you. Councilman, let's go to Eddie. Any questions or comments?
Nah, it's hard to say yes, cause we need fire departments. We got to rebuild here in the city, and it's gonna cost. I need one in my district right now, and I need money for that. So I just can't see passing money on right now. It's hard.
Councilman
Well,
Coker?
I know we've had a lot of discussion about this, and something that I keep hearing was everybody liked the first plan, but the only difference I see between that and this is you lost the value of the county, and that's what you and I had discussed, and so where in this could we create a countywide assistance district or whatever it is that provides, or the ESD for the whole county that provides the city's services as well? I mean, wouldn't that do the same thing and just not flow it through the hospital?
Well, that deal's dead, so.
Yeah.
No, I know, but I'm just,
Still have to be put on the ballot again too, so.
Let me give you my comments, because I disagree. Let me tell you why.
okay.
Number one, I had a lot of friends grow up in West Odessa, and I consider West Odessa part of Odessa. I know it's not through city limits, I get it, but I still consider it part of Odessa. And currently, if Chief Cotton gets a call tonight, they're going whether they get paid or not. We're gonna go every time. So we're already doing it. You understand that? We're doing it every time. And and I'm gonna step on your toes, maybe, Chief, but I think there was 23,000 calls last year, and I think you just said 22,000 calls, and about 26% went to West Odessa?
About 30%. West Odessa, I'm not sure. Countywide, 30%.
Countywide, thank you, that's what I meant to ask. Countywide. So you already sent them 7,500 times approximately, I'd round it up. Anyway, and you didn't get paid for it. Now, here's what I say. All we're doing tonight is voting to put it on a ballot, okay? That's all we can do. That's all we're being asked to do. Now, it's up to the ESD to go pass it. We can't help that. We don't get a vote. We don't have a say. It's up to these guys to do it. I think they're motivated. I think there's a lot of people in the county, but I think it's going to be difficult for them to get it passed. With you, I hear.
But give them a chance.
Yes, give them a chance. Why can't we give them a chance? Because remember, we're doing it anyway. And in this format, we'll actually get some amount of money. Let's call it 21. Let's just do the easy math. Will that pay for a fire station? Well, it will. That's all it'll do is probably pay for one fire station and some trucks and maybe some man hours. How many do you need? I think they need more than one, right? But you know, and I think you said it, Steve, I think we need 3 new ones built plus 2 that aren't even built yet. 3 rebuilt, 2 more built. So it's a problem. There will have to be another discussion about whether Odessa Fire and Rescue is going to be that entity doing it or somebody else. All they're asking today is for us to put on the ballot and give them a chance. I vote to give these guys a chance to get it done. And if they do, then we'll see where it goes. But that's all we can do is give them a chance. So that's where I come down. But I think we don't have a motion on the table yet. We need to have a motion. But
And Mayor, if you will, do 7 first and then 8 second.
Right. We'll
And
write
that-
them up
and that'll-
separately.
Mr. Mayor.
But before I do that, Councilman Haney.
So, to help protect the city in this, I think the council should be, a couple of people from this council should be appointed to that, if we're gonna spend all this money and we're gonna do all of this stuff, I think the city should have a say in this somewhere. If we're providing the services and we're doing this, somewhere the city needs to have some kind of say in this, and that would be on this board.
But remember, we're not being asked that, and that we may not be the entity that does that. We're not
No.
committing ourselves to
But
do
if we-
that.
If we did,
But if we did, that's a separate issue. I get it. And it may be better to have somebody like someone on fire that actually knows something about it more than us. But anyway, that's a great idea, but that is another discussion for another day. The question today before us is, are we gonna allow it on the ballot or not? And let's start with number 7. And can I have a motion on number 7? That is to consider and participate in the election on the petition to create the Ector County Emergency Service District Number 1 Fire Service. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Stoker, is there a
Second.
second? Second
Second.
by Councilman Cannell. Is there any additional discussion?
Well, one thing, Mayor, that I'll say, I would give them a chance to vote it up or down, whichever I think that's only fair. I agree with you on that. Beyond that, because we are in the ETJ, which is very important to us, and the county's already got us kind of hamstrung with the ETJ, so I don't want to get us in another wee willy switch with giving away part of our jurisdictional opportunities, and that happened to us because some things got missed last time. And the county's collecting sales tax, and then you got this district property tax. There's a lot of hoops to jump through, but if they were lucky enough to get it done, but there would be it's going to be way different than the way the interlocal agreements read now. I can just tell you that. But it's not financially beneficial for us. We're making those runs anyway. The thing that Mr. Mitchell said a minute ago that I agree with him is that what people don't realize, when you take an ambulance and a fire truck out of his district to go out the other side of Moss, that leaves this side of town unprotected. And these people are paying taxes for that protection. That's the burn, the stomach ache and stuff, if that makes any sense.
That makes real sense.
That's the problem.
Which is why, if they can put one out there, it alleviates that problem. But I get it, there's a lot of stuff.
I understand.
Yeah.
They're paying for it. In fact, and that's not the only thing that happens, and I know for a fact, and Chief Cotton can certainly correct me, but I know that actually West Odessa, these fire stations on this side of town were covered up, and I actually know for a fact that one run came off of East Ridge, off the east side of town, to have to go to the west.
And yet it did it anyway.
Yet it did it anyway, but it left that whole side of town uncovered. So, there's a problem everywhere you turn. It's a very complex. I don't disagree with that, but I will yield to what you said. I think that it's only fair to give them a chance if they can get it passed. then beyond that, but if it were to pass, I think it's gonna be very difficult to get.
And at least it's moving in the right direction. It's been a problem out there in West Odessa
Yeah.
forever.
And it's going to continue to be.
Let's do the vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Now let's look at the second, section 8, approving participation in the election on the petition for the creation of an extra county service, emergency service district number 2, Amundsen Medical Service. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Councilman Stoker?
Second.
I think Steve beat you.
Gotcha.
All right, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck.
We wish you all the best.
Thank you all for the opportunity.
Thank you.
We're good.
All right, let's go to item number 9. Consider the authorizing additional funds for the North Dixie Boulevard pavement reconstruction from Walnut Avenue to East 42nd.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
This item is to consider a resolution authorizing additional funds for the North Dixie Boulevard pavement reconstruction from Walnut Avenue to East 46th Street. On November 26, 2024, Council awarded a bid to Reese Albert Incorporated in the amount of $1,982,104.17 for the North Dixie Boulevard pavement reconstruction from Walnut Avenue to East 46th Street. For this project, Council appropriated $1.6 million from ARPA fund by resolution, from which $78,500 was used for the project survey and design. An additional $13,664.75 of the ARPA fund by resolution was appropriated for the project. The difference between the budgeted amount and the awarded amount is $460,604.17. This agenda would authorize the additional $460,604.17 for the project and approve a resolution for the amendment of budget to appropriate $460,604.17 from the general fund to the project account to cover the additional cost. And I'll be happy to answer to your questions.
Question is, what the hell happened? This was just in November, we approved it.
What happened?
Yeah, we're
so that-
30% off?
No, it is $460,604.17 were appropriated, but not by resolution. So we are just doing that by resolution. We're adding a resolution to that now.
We didn't do a resolution on November 6th?
It wasn't requested. That's okay. We're gonna,
Okay.
So
we're licking the calf.
redo.
Yeah, we're looking at calf over again. That's his favorite saying.
All right, any
Oh, yeah.
questions?
Okay, I thought maybe there was some kind of a foul up on the bid. That's what I was.
No. We have the contracts and we are working on the.
So they got to get the resolution to start the project?
No, yes, we are actually scheduling the pre-development meeting, pre-construction
Probably like
meetings.
this for 6 months.
Well, how about, any discussion, gentlemen, any questions? If not, let's get it in motion, let's get it done.
So moved.
Motion by Councilman Thompson.
Second.
Second by Councilman Cadell. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Thank you, sir. Let's get a resolution on that.
Let's get it signed. That'd be a nice change. Somebody'd actually follow the rules.
Item number 10, ordinance. Consider a rate increase at Ratliff Ranch Golf Leagues. Jonathan.
Mayor, Council, good evening. We are considering a rate increase at Ratliff Ranch Golf Course. This is a revenue growth opportunity, obviously, to raise rates, but this rate increase is much needed. The last rate increase was in 2017. We all know from then to now, the inflation has skyrocketed. There also, all the other courses in the area have increased rates at least once during that time. So this is to realign us in the market where we should be in the area. The current And proposed rate structure, currently, our weekday green fee is $25. Our proposed rate on the weekday is $29. The Friday and weekend rate currently is $32, and we're proposing a $39 green fee. The cart fees are proposed to go up $1. The annual passes, currently a single annual pass is $1,200. That would go up to $1,600. The family pass is $1,500, and that would go up to $2,000. We are going to remove the weekday pass because it's not used. It's not utilized at all. There's nobody that has a just a weekday annual pass. The senior pass is currently $900, and that will go up to $1,100. We also have a junior annual pass. It's from months June through August. It'll go up $50 from $200 to $250. The range buckets will also go up from $5 to $6 for a medium bucket, $8 to $10 for a large bucket, and the range card, which is 20 large buckets, will go from 100 to 120.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Yes,
Gentlemen,
sir.
any questions?
When was the last race?
2017.
Yeah, definitely.
Is there any comments from the public, Norma?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, I did have a quick question. I got a call from somebody asking about this, if it would increase any staffing. They were concerned about either not having marshals out there or that they were having issues with the pace of play, and they thought that marshals would help with that.
Sure. We do have a volunteer marshal program. With how busy the golf course is, the pace of play is an issue. We constantly work to make sure pace of play is in that 4-hour range. It is a volunteer position, so we're always recruiting volunteers, but we definitely understand and know the need for that marshal program.
That's what I told him. He's a volunteer.
Absolutely. We'll take them.
Guys, any additional discussion?
Yeah, Jonathan, what did you guys just come up with anything for the youth for weekends or before
So absolutely, yes,
that
sir.
we talked about?
Yes, sir. So on the weekend, currently there was not a junior rate. The juniors on the weekend would pay the full green fee. So we did implement a junior weekend rate, which would be $20 rather than the full $39 for a junior golfer.
Okay.
That's good.
Good, guy. I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
So moved by, which one? I can't. I was going to say it again. I'm down. All right, second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Mitchell. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's unanimous. Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Move to number 11, discuss, consider all City of Odessa commissions and board members, including appointment, reappointment, removing, or modification, including
For the Midland Odessa Urban Transit District, Susan Gentry is willing to serve again. If council wishes to reappoint her.
do we need a motion on that, or?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody want to make a motion to let her continue to
So
serve?
moved.
So moved, motion by Councilman Cannell, seconded by Councilman Mitchell. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Any others?
No, sir.
Perfect. All right. Item 12, executive session. As authorized by the Texas Government Code, Section 551.071, subsection A, subpart A and B, consultation with attorney, City Council may adjourn to executive session to discuss pending litigation and settlement offers with the city attorney and attorneys hired by the City of Odessa for the case of, number one, Matthew Code versus City of Odessa, et al., cause number D-24-08-105-CV, and number two, David Terry versus City of Odessa, cause number 7:24-CV-275. As authorized by the Texas Government Code, Section 551.071, subpart 2, the City Council may adjourn into executive session 2, on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the government body under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas Clearly conflicts with this chapter discuss oil and gas easements in the city of Odessa. All right. I will need the motion to go into executive session.
Mayor, council,
Yeah.
we have some speakers that wish to speak.
We do it before or after?
You can do it after, or you can do it before, however you wish.
Let's do it before. All right, who's our speakers tonight?
Chris Crow?
Chris.
Honorable Mayor, distinguished council, thank you so much for your time this evening. I wanted to speak on this particular agenda item before you guys go into executive session. As I think several municipalities across the state, including Ector County and the city of Odessa, are being hit with more and more what I would consider personally as fraudulent lawsuits. I think that the public as a whole has decided a quick and easy way to money is just to file a lawsuit against a municipality, because in a lot of cases the municipality looks at it as, is it cheaper to fight the lawsuit, or is it cheaper just to pay people to go away? Well, I think there's a danger, and we're setting a couple of really big precedents by doing that. You know, one is, are we setting a precedent that says, look, if you're looking for money, let's just file a nice little lawsuit, knowing full well that the city council or county commissioner's court's probably just going to vote to pay you off. You know, hey, what's $50,000 or what's $25,000 in the event of possibly going before a jury and losing a lot of money. The second thing is, you know, in one of these cases, in particular, the Code lawsuit, and I've kind of gone through that suit a little bit and saw several issues with it. But, you know, Mr. Code was actually interviewed by the PD for a possible instance that was going on out there. And he's claiming that, you know, he was inadvertently accused of committing a crime that he wasn't done. Well, one, I never saw a police report anywhere in the findings. And second, I never saw where he was actually accused by the city of committing a crime. If anything was ever made public in this particular case, it was Mr. Code that made everything public in that case. And therefore, if he saw that he was damaged in any way, he's the one that did it. So are we setting a precedent to where the police picks up the phone and calls somebody and says, hey, we've got some questions for you in relation to a particular case? And somebody doesn't like that. And so now we have a way that we can go ahead and just sue the city because, hey, I was questioned by a police officer, and therefore I've been damaged. Do we want to set that precedent for our city? You know, I'd just like to see the city and city council look at each of these cases that come before you on a one-to-one basis, but not so much as what I've seen in the past is it cheaper to settle this case or try it, but do we need to keep honest people honest? I mean, do we need to make it harder for some of these cases by saying, hey, we're willing to fight some of this that we think is wrong, and not just look at it on a monetary basis? Is it the price that we're talking about, the price of settling a suit, or the price of paying to defend a suit? Or is it a cost of potentially having dozens more potential fraudulent lawsuits coming before this very body? You have to have the same decision. This should be your decision when you go into executive session. Thank you so much.
Thanks, sir. Next.
Jet Brown has designated his 3 minutes to Ronnie Lewis.
I'm Ronnie Lewis. When you're in the executive session, please consider what Matt Code went through. And everything I've ever spoke here in the city council has been about the political climate in Ector County. That's all I've ever worked on. For 4 years, I've spent hours and hours and hours trying to settle the political climate. Chris Crow says, take it to court. Don't settle. I'm not a lawyer. I've never been to college, but put the jury right there. Let me tell the jury, put yourself in you be Matt Code. You have a mayor. Call a city manager who calls the police chief and makes a report on you. Put yourself in that spot and see how you like that spot. It's not a good spot. Now, he mentioned a police report. I got no problem with the police questioning somebody, absolutely. But when a mayor calls the city council, calls the city manager, and it reports to the police chief. The police chief goes back to a captain. I've heard every tape. I have them on my phone. I've heard every tape. Matt Coday ended up interrogating. I felt sorry for the policeman because he was, hang on, let me get back. It was sad what the policeman had to do to try to cover up for John Beckmeyer for doing that. So I really think if this thing went to court, that Matt Coday would go to the bank on it, because no citizen wants to be treated like that. And it's all due to this political climate. We know factually that there was a racial tension plan to be in place to get Javier Hoban reelected. We know that. Jeff Russell will come up and he'll testify to it. He said it. He learned about it in March. He didn't tell us till August when he got thrown off the ODC, but that's where we are, or at least that's where we were. So as you go into executive session, consider yourself, put yourself in that spot. How would you like to be Joe Blow? Matt Coday, by all accounts, is a truck driver, but he's faced it. I mean, I can't even imagine being hit with city manager, mayor, police chief, captain, and there was never any proof. So I would think twice about what Chris Crow just suggested to you, because I know he's involved in it, and somehow his wife's involved in it, but you put that in front of a jury, I think Matt Coday's going to go to the bank. I'd settle. It's just me, but I'm here again. It's about the political climate. We got to put an end to it. We've got people in our community that are willing to do anything to stay in power. And it's just about doing the right thing. I sat right here and listened to all this about the firemen. I loved it. Each one of y'all had a voice. Cal come right in and said, hey, we're doing it anyway. That's the way government works. It doesn't work with Javier sitting there and we got two other people bobbling their head and John Beckmeyer doing that. Y'all are going to do great. But when you go into executive session, think about Matt Coday. Think about what he was put through. How would you like your kids to be put through it? It was wrong, and Javier Hoban needs to be admonished, and we just got to put an end to this in Ector County. We've got to get our campaigns and our politics more civil and more peaceful. Thank you.
Any other speakers?
No, sir.
Need a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
So moves here, second.
Second.
Second by Councilman Stoke, all in favor?
Yeah, yes.
You need to vote on that? All in favor, say aye.
There we go.
Motion's unanimous.
3 well bores. Oh, can't wait for that baby to start coming.
We should drill some wells instead of well bores.
Hey, this is the start, baby.
Yeah, I know.
You gotta get the easements and well bores
You gotta
first.
get them drilled first, I know.
Drill, baby, drill. I'm excited about that one. Pick me up, where'd my phone go?
All right, gentlemen, I need a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved.
So moved by Councilman Haney. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Mitchell. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, we're back in open session at 7:30 PM on the 18th day of January 2025. There was no action taken in executive session.
Sorry about that, Cal.
All right.
Sherry likes to talk to you.
Is there any motions?
I would make a motion that on the lawsuit with Mr. Code, that we agree to settle that lawsuit for $60,000.
As the Rule 11 agreement.
As the what?
Per the,
Per
Per the Rule 11 agreement, yeah.
all right. Is there a second?
I second.
Second by Councilman Mitchell. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
Hey.
Motion passes 4-2. All right. Item to agenda number 13, consider approving subsurface agreement with Continental Resources. Dan, would like to give us a short presentation?
Yeah, so this is a subsurface easement that is north of Murphy. It's on some property that we own. They are not going, they're not gonna have any surface access. They're just basically gonna do 3 well bores right up under subsurface.
Any questions?
Continental Resources.
All right. Not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Haney, second. Second by Councilman Connell. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
You're moved by Councilman, seconded by Mitchell. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.